So now that Ripple won the case, why am I seeing all over social media and articles being written about the case not being over? Well, because they're partially true. And in this video, I'm going to clarify some things about XRP specifically regarding the case of the SEC versus Ripple and who is not happy about it and why. And those people who are not happy about it are not going to be happy about the metric that I'm going to talk about regarding XRP and yes, Bitcoin. I'm also going to be talking about what the CFTC here in the United States is talking about with regard to regulatory status and the regulatory clarity of the cryptocurrency market and how the case of Ripple could have actually affected it. I'm also going to be talking about what the potential for appeal is from the SEC, but not just the SEC, from Ripple. And there's some familiar names that I'm going to mention in this video. Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind. And right now on this channel, we're still covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, as well as other cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all these topics interest you, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, join the Late Night Grind community. And if you do a couple things, I'd really appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button and watch this video all the way to the end. Those really do help out a YouTube channel. So if you do that, I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was what the commissioner of the CFTC just said. This is Caroline Pham. Now, she came out and was talking about the judgment of Ripple versus the SEC, in which it was essentially a split decision. I'm going to talk about that later in this video. But what she was referring to is that she thinks that there is going to be a start, or this judgment in the case is actually the start of actually creating a relevant framework for digital assets, for cryptocurrencies, so that there is regulatory clarity. Now, of course, if you've been following this channel or this case, you know that XRP does right now have clear-cut regulatory status in the United States deemed by the courts. And in fact, it's the only one to get that clarity other than Bitcoin, in which Gary Gensler himself said everything is a security except for Bitcoin. Well, now we know that that is not the case. And now that we have that, there's also several senators in the United States looking to push forward more regulatory clarity for cryptocurrencies, including the ETFs that have been filed by BlackRock and many others. So we're going to see what kind of push that Congress actually has now that the Ripple versus the SEC case is close to over, or is it? So let's talk about the court case. Okay, so after it came down, there was big news. XRP nearly doubled in price in about a day. That Ripple had won the case, but then it started to come out, well, hold on, the SEC was spinning it as a win. And there's some other groups of people in the cryptocurrency world, i.e. Bitcoin maxis, that think nothing else matters other than Bitcoin. We're also not happy about the status of the court case, and they also think that the SEC won. So let's clarify some things. XRP itself got its regulatory status as Judge Torres clearly laid out multiple times that XRP is in and of itself not a security. It is not applicable to the Howey test. Now, it could be sold as a security. And this is the part that many people got confused. Ripple, the fintech company, essentially lost their case against the SEC in terms of, did Ripple contract to sell XRP to certain institutional buyers? And that judgment went to the SEC in a definitive yes. Now here's the thing. The SEC spun it that they won the case, and of course so did Ripple, and XRP holders in the cryptocurrency world, other than Bitcoin maxis, rejoiced because XRP finally got its day in court, literally. So what is going to happen with potential appeals? Because we all know that the SEC, and Gary Gensler himself said he is not happy with the outcome of this case. And you know that that is really getting under his skin. So even though the SEC won a portion of their case, they may be seeking an appeal, according to many insiders, about the decision by Judge Torres to declare XRP a non-security digital asset and all of the XRP that were sold on exchanges, secondary markets, as also non-securities. Because that would be bad for the SEC in terms of going after not only a lot of the exchanges, but a lot of other crypto projects that were very easy for them to go after previously. So Jeremy Hogan marked in his latest video about the appeals. And at first it seems like, well, it's not necessarily a good thing because then it would just drag the case on even longer and could possibly even put XRP holders into a mindset that could we actually lose regulatory status of XRP? Well, Jeremy Hogan said that an appeal is not very likely to win. It's extremely difficult to win. The appellate court or the Supreme Court, if it gets there, would essentially have to prove that Judge Torres that her decision was somehow flawed, or her decision making was somehow flawed. And not only that, this is a definitive case in which the entirety of the case was viewed by Judge Torres. So will the SEC actually appeal? Because there is a chance that they could appeal and win, but of course it's extremely difficult, and if they lose, well, then you have an appeal that's lost, which if that happens, all of the Second Circuit courts would then have to definitively go by that ruling. Not something the SEC wants to happen. Now, a lot of other people were talking about, will Ripple appeal this case? Because they were essentially guilty of selling their XRP as investment contracts, specifically through contracts to certain investors. Now, would they actually go through with an appeal, considering that they actually got the regulatory clarity that they were looking for XRP? Well, it's unlikely, but we'll have to see in the coming weeks and months if they would actually go through with that. Judge Netburn, yes, Judge Netburn, who was the judge towards the beginning of this case, handling all of the preliminaries, this now goes back into her court, literally, in which she said recently that the SEC and Ripple can decide on settlement meetings. That's right, settlement meetings. And she said if they would find it productive. Now, I don't know if it would come to that, but it is possible that Ripple and the SEC could settle based on the amount of fines that Ripple looks like it's going to have to pay for those institutional contract sales of XRP. So we're going to have to see how it all shakes out. But when we break it down, we do know that XRP, specifically in the cryptocurrency world, did get the biggest win in this case. So other than Gary Gensler and the SEC, who was that group of people that were not happy that Ripple, that XRP got its regulatory clarity? Well, of course, it's the Bitcoin maxis that think it's Bitcoin and nothing else. Well, they're about to get some more bad news, because recently there was a technical analysis that I looked up, and I want to give credit to CoinCharts, where this was actually found, in which the XRP versus Bitcoin and the XRP versus Ethereum, well, their ADX number is above 20. Now, what does that mean? Well, ADX stands for Average Directional Index, and above 20 means there is a significant trend. And if you look at the chart, there is a bit of an outbreak for XRP versus Bitcoin, meaning for one day, XRP absolutely decoupled from everything and did its own thing. In fact, it pulled the rest of the cryptocurrency market for at least a day or two. But now it seems like it's back coupled with the rest of the crypto market, seems to have those ups and downs right along with Bitcoin. However, what this analysis shows is that XRP against Bitcoin and Ethereum could be growing even faster than the cryptocurrency market as a whole. Now, there's millions and millions of dollars, mostly by institutional money, in the last month being pumped into cryptocurrency, the majority of that going, of course, to Bitcoin. However, this speculation that some of this technical analysis said is pointing towards larger institutional buying of XRP, and that makes sense. Remember a couple of videos I made about 170 million XRP were purchased by huge wallets that already owned millions of XRP just days before this court case hit. Makes you wonder, well, is there going to be even more institutional buying? Is it going to drive the price and the demand of XRP sky high? That remains to be seen, but let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.